South by Southwest is almost finished. It's my last night in Austin and I have this incredible view behind me. It's been such a great trip, and yes, this is a tech and a digital and interactive conference, the portion of it that I was at, but I learned so much more here. So I'm excited to get back to Vancouver and recap my key takeaways from all of the information that I took in here in Austin. So I'll see you in Vancouver. Just give me 1 second.
Just hold on, we're going home. Just hold on, we're going home. It's hard to do these things alone.
It's so nice to be home, and like I said, as much as South by Southwest is about digital innovations and the future of technology and the future of the digital landscape, I walked away with so much more than just that kind of knowledge. This trip was a total leap of faith. I booked it a week before. I booked a one-way ticket to Austin a week before. I had gotten a press pass, had been approved for it super late in the game, so I set up some interviews, and I knew I was going to do some radio stuff while I was there and perhaps work with some publications who I'd worked with in the past, doing some coverage, but I really had no plans, no preparation, and also no place to stay. So thankfully, some really gracious and generous friends let me crash with them while in Austin. But as you can imagine, it's a little nerve-wracking when you go into a situation like this, completely solo and not really knowing what you're going to do there or what you're going to get out of it. But something in my gut was telling me to go, and outside of the tactical things like I mentioned, these are the life lessons I took away from South by Southwest, and I'm hoping that you'll take something out of this too. The first thing that I learned is get in the game. There's been a reason why I haven't been able to make it to South by Southwest in years in the past, and I've made excuses, but I think it's so important to understand that if you can just get in the arena with the people that you admire the most, you're guaranteed to learn something, and you're never going to leave an experience like this feeling like it was a waste of time. I got to see Gary Vaynerchuk speak. He's someone that I followed for 6 years and admired for 6 years. And so to be able to see him speak and then also to get a little bit of one-on-one time with him, just to say thank you for all of the value that he's offered over the years, was a really incredible experience. So that was amazing. And one of my key takeaways from his session was about how he deals with his company. And as he's grown, 2 very successful businesses, it was really interesting to hear him speak about the way he treats his employees. And I think it's such a huge key to success. So take a listen to this.
I am worried about surrounding myself with the following. First and foremost, good human beings that understand that emotional intelligence trumps IQ in my building every day of the week. I can teach you the algorithm of the Facebook feed at the current environment. I can teach you why listening and big data can help you on Twitter. I can teach you that, hashtag culture within Instagram that makes it work. I can teach you to pay attention today to Musical.ly and Anchor and Peach and After School. I can teach you that. I can't teach you to not be a douchebag, And so first and foremost, it's EQ. Second of all, I one by one, Ben Ruby, Emily McDonough, Dan Grossman, I one by one these people and try to get to know them, and I've spent numerous minutes with these 3 hours to fundamentally understand what makes them tick. What do they want? Dan wants to be a big-time DJ. Great. So then I will introduce him to, Avicii. And so, what I do all the time is try to understand what matters to them, and it evolves. When Dan first started working for me, he wasn't married, right? So different things mattered. I'm mentally prepared to reverse engineer anybody that ever works for me and understand what makes them tick.
My next takeaway is prepare like a champion. So no, I didn't have a lot of time before South by Southwest, and I was really thrown into some crazy opportunities. And I knew going into this that I really didn't know what I was going to be doing at South by. I could have just gone and attended. But I ended up getting an opportunity on Sunday to host the Comcast Social Media Lounge. I didn't really know what that meant, but the moment I walked into the space and saw what I was going to be doing, I got so anxious and so overwhelmed and completely psyched myself out. But I had to snap out of it very quickly because I had less than 24 hours to prepare to interview 16 people on Sunday. So I interviewed 16 people, and these 16 people included New York Times bestselling authors, Emmy award-winning actors,
but best interview ever,
people I've admired for a very long time, and some of the biggest thought leaders who were doing keynotes at South by. So it was intimidating, very intimidating, but it was a make or break moment, and I stayed up most of the night. I prepared, and everything that could have gone wrong could have gone wrong. I couldn't get Wi-Fi. My computer crashed on me. I made it to a coffee shop to go work, and the alarm went off for about 45 minutes. So it was really, really stressful, but I just knew that for me, the best thing to combat nerves is preparation. So no matter what, I was going to prepare as much as I could. And I didn't sleep very much before game day on Sunday when I actually had to interview all of these people. But it didn't really matter because the adrenaline kicked in, and I knew that I was prepared, so I wasn't nervous. And I just went in there, and I knew that I could do it. And everything in my life had led me up to this point thus far, and it turned out amazing. And it was one of the most incredible experiences I've had in my career thus far, and I'm so, so, so grateful. But my biggest takeaway, and something that I hope that you guys get out of this, is that preparation is the enemy of nerves. If you're feeling nervous about something, read everything you can, do everything you can to prepare, to do your research, so you know that you're walking into the situation ready for anything, really. And the third takeaway is that this is not a spectator sport. Being an entrepreneur and going after your dreams is not a spectator sport. It's not built for everybody. And unfortunately, the people who don't dare to do things that are outside their comfort zone or take risks tend to point fingers. And ironically, after I had one of the greatest days ever, hosting the Comcast Social Media Lounge and having these incredible opportunities to meet people that I've looked up to for so long and have conversations with them, I received 2 really mean, cruel emails saying that I didn't know anything and that I shouldn't be getting these opportunities and that I should stop bragging. And I hope that it never comes off that I'm bragging. I just like to share my experiences and hope that you guys take something away from it. So it was really hurtful, but weirdly enough, I also went to a keynote at South by that taught me exactly how I needed to handle a situation like that. And it was with Brene Brown, who, again, I look up to her so much. She's an absolutely brilliant woman. And you definitely, if you don't know of her, make sure that you follow her. But one of the things that she said was, if you're not in the arena with me and you're not getting dust on your face and you're not sweating and you're not filled with tears and passion, and you're not in the game, then your opinion really doesn't matter. So that was kind of exactly what I needed to hear right before I got these really cruel emails that hurt. And I thought it was really interesting because this woman, Brene Brown, is so successful. And she said, you know, it doesn't matter how successful you get or who you are. If someone says something mean about you, it's hard not to believe it on a certain level, and it's hard not to let it affect you. You're human if it affects you, and we're all human. But there's certain ways that you can deal with it. And another really great takeaway from her session was she said that she now has a circle of people in her life that she trusts to give her feedback because they love and trust her, and she loves and trusts them. And she sticks to about 5 people, and that's really those are the only opinions that really matter. And they also keep her in check if she starts to read negative reviews or she starts to go down the rabbit hole of looking at YouTube comments that maybe aren't the nicest. So I thought that was a really great little trick and something that everybody can implement in their own lives. So create this circle of really tight-knit people around you that you trust and love, and those are the only people whose opinions really matter. And finally, the whole trip was really just one big practice in believing that if you put yourself in the right situation, really incredible things can happen. And I always say that a lot of serendipitous things take place in my life, meaning that I feel like it's fate or that I've manifested it or it's just meant to be a situation. And if I think about something, it sort of just like pops into my life. And I feel very grateful for that. But in another very serendipitous moment on the last day of my trip, I met this woman who actually did a talk. She's on a panel at South by Southwest about serendipity. And she taught me a word that she's trying to get into the Oxford Dictionary that I think is an even better description for setting yourself up for these magical things to happen. So it's Serentention. The woman's name is Annika, and she is the creator of a really cool company called Room Split. and I'll link to her below, her social handles and her website. But basically the idea of Serendipity is that yes, there are certain elements of manifesting things into reality and thinking that they're going to happen, but you also have to have the intent to get yourself in those situations. So if I hadn't have taken the leap of faith to go to South by Southwest, none of these things would have happened. And finally, one of the things that everyone kept saying over and over again is that South by Southwest is a marathon, not a sprint. And I definitely learned that more than anything. It's exhausting, but it's so much fun, and it's kind of sensory overload. So you have to manage your energy and manage your time a little bit while you're there, and kind of just continue to run on adrenaline somewhat. So because I was a first timer, I asked some of these South by vets to share their best South by Southwest survival tips. So take a look at this.
Wear comfortable shoes, drink lots of water, and have a plan.
Hey guys, it's Gary. Sunny's here, but I'm taking over. My #1 survival tip at South by Southwest is power. Your power will die. You need power, electric power.
What is your #1 survival tip at South by?
It's called champagne. So basically, anything from champagne is going to help you. And then in the morning, have some airborne.
Cheers to that. So needless to say, my first South by Southwest experience was magic, and I can't wait to go back next year, and I hope to see you there. And I guess the whole purpose of me making this video, I actually intended to make a video on like the biggest digital and tech innovations that I found there, but I thought this would resonate more, and I just really wanted to share that, you know, if you feel like your gut is telling you to do something, do it. And if you feel like you need to take a trip somewhere, or you need to meet somebody, or you need to send that email or take that class, or whatever it is that your heart and your gut are telling you to do it. I love when people say take the leap and the net will appear, because that's exactly what happened to me on this trip, and it happens a lot in my life now because my risk tolerance is so much greater than it used to be. So take a risk, take a chance, even if it's a small one today, or this month, or whenever you can, because I promise that in some way, shape, or form it will pay off. Whether it's a lesson or a blessing, there will be something great that comes out of it. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.